started to run into some Boeing problems with the last two wood valves.
Really? Uh-huh.
Good, Larry, how's it going?
So you almost done with this thing?
I am so close to being finished.
About how long did it take you to do it?
Well, I painted at home on it for close to 3 months, off and on.
Yes.
And then last Sunday, we had Dave Signs from Ventura come up and bolt it to the wall. And I started doing touch-ups. And so it's been a week of touch-ups after almost 3 months of painting.
I'm Foster Markoff with Carpinteria Beautiful. Clean, green, and beautiful is what we try to do in town. We have a murals committee. The murals committee, working with John, is pretty much responsible for getting this mural done. Sylvia Echeverra, Donna Jordan, Rosa Markoff, also Brian Moots and Jerry Campopiano and myself. We started this committee about 10 years ago. First did the Rincon from the Bluffs mural with the help of Whitney Abbott down at Rincon, down at Kelleback, and then of course 5.5 years ago John did his magnificent World's Safest Beach mural. We came up with this idea, actually the history of the agriculture of Carpinteria, together with the World's Safest Beach theme at the first or second meeting we had as a committee 10 years ago or so. Then back in February of 2016, you, Larry, got involved in talking to us about a site on the Bank of America building for our next mural, and we tried to get that done, but the bank nixed the idea because they have some corporate rule about not having anything on a wall that has their logo on it.
I had great art teachers at Carpinteria High School, and then I took a painting class with Bob Frame, one painting class with Bob Frame at Santa Barbara City College, and I took a drawing class with Ken Knack at Santa Barbara City College.
Brad Knack's dad, yeah.
And I took all the art history classes that they had to offer at Santa Barbara City College. I was a straight A student. And I didn't get my bachelor's. Instead, I decided to hit the road and make a living. And I went around the world several times and painted for luminaries and other assorted folks. Was artist in residence in a lot of different places. I have a funny feeling that there's going to be a lot of people here tomorrow.
Could be tomorrow 3 p.m. The celebration opening. This is your portable studio?
Yeah, how
You
about it,
wouldn't
huh?
call this a studio, would you?
Yeah, do you think I'm a plein air painter now?
Feels like air to me.
I'm Foster Markoff, and on behalf of Carpinteria Beautiful and our esteemed artist John Woolbrandt, we welcome you all here today to this fantastic occasion, celebrating and dedicating this incredible mural that John's worked so hard on. There's going to be 3 short speeches. Well, I don't know how short they'll actually end up being, but I'm going to speak for a few minutes. Then Sylvia is going to pass out plaques to our partner donors. And then, of course, John will get to tell us about this epic adventure he's been on for the last several months. Now, first, I'd like to introduce a few people that are here. First and foremost, the most important is Mary Woolbrandt, mother of John. And you'll have to wait for it, but I'm going to mention her name 2 more times at least. Then we have Brad Stein, on the council, and Greg Carty. 2 of our wonderful council members are here, and if I missed one of them, I don't see the others. We have Dina McMillan, pardon me? I meant to say Greg Carty. Hi, Greg. Dina McMillan, the president of Carpinteria Beautiful. And Marta Marquez, sitting right here with, I guess, her granddaughter, is the owner of this building, and she's the one who gave us approval to put this wonderful mural up. Thank you, Marta. Where are... Oh, Don Benson. Where's Don? Don helped us with the review of the installation of the mural. He was a big help before we went to the Architectural Review Board. Without Mary and Ernie, there would be no mural because obviously they're the parents of John. And I have it on good authority that tomorrow is Mary's birthday. So everybody please join me in singing Happy Birthday to Mary. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mary. Happy birthday to you. So how did this project get started? Carpinteria Beautiful, first of all's motto, or mission for those of you who don't know it, is keep Carpinteria clean, green, and beautiful. And I think the beautiful part of it has been covered by John in this fantastic mural. 11 and a half years ago, we formed a murals committee of Carpinteria Beautiful to do some painted murals in town. You all probably know about the 2 tile murals that we did some years ago. All the murals we've done really help celebrate in different ways the history of things that have happened here, as do the 2 tile murals, John's World's Safest Beach mural, and of course this heritage mural for the history of Carpinteria agriculture. The committee, the Murals Committee, is comprised of Jerry Campopiano, Donna Jordan, Sylvia Echeverra, Brian Moots, Rosa Markoff, and her husband. When we first set up the Murals Committee over 11 years ago, we had, of course, a lot of discussions about themes for murals that we might consider doing over the years. The 2 that stood out the most were World's Safest Beach and History of Carpinteria Agriculture, the California ones across the street. It took us a few years to get the World's Safest Beach one done, and interestingly, exactly 5.5 years ago today, we did the dedication ceremony for that mural over on Wolbrant Way. We started this process, I don't know if I mentioned that already, a year and a half ago to get this mural planned. Tried first to put it on this building on the wall on the Linden side. Bank of America wouldn't allow us to do anything on that wall because their logo's on that wall and they never allow anything to go up where their logo is. Just a minute. Gary Campopiano mentioned to one of us that he knew Marta Marquez and that she had a great wall for the mural and she might be willing and interested to have us put the mural up there. And fortunately she was, and there it is. It took us, like I said, a year and a half. A lot of that was meeting and planning and John doing his initial drawings and painting various versions of it. And we had to go to the Architectural Review Board. Is there anybody from the ARB here? I didn't see anyone. They unanimously approved us doing this mural at the beginning of June of this year. And almost immediately after that, John started painting. And he painted for approximately 3 months, and he did this on these panels up at his ranch there. And somehow he did such a remarkable job of lining up all these seams that when we had it installed by a sign company, fortunately, a week ago yesterday, almost all the leaves, flowers, avocados, lemons, everything in the creases almost uniformly lined up perfectly. So another testament to his skill. Nevertheless, he's been busy all week doing touch-ups because he does great touch-ups. He just painted the logo on the tractor yesterday, I believe. Let me see what I forgot. Now, when we did this project, Carpinteria Beautiful, which has about 60 volunteers who do a lot of things to keep our town looking as nice as it looks, voted unanimously to pay the full cost of the mural. But we started talking in our committee, and we decided it would be a great opportunity to let the people in our community who are in the agricultural, floricultural industry participate in this effort that celebrates everything they've been doing with their livelihoods and lives for so many years. And so we decided we would approach up to 10 growers in the area and give them the opportunity to partner with Carpinteria Beautiful in doing this project. We set the limit at 10. We had a one fee, $1,000 donation that we requested, and Donna Jordan, Donnie Nair, Sylvia Echeverra were the subcommittee that went out to those people and talked to them and explained what we were doing, and 10 of them stepped forward rather quickly, and we're here to celebrate them today too. I didn't mention at the beginning, because I didn't look at my note card, that when I'm done, Sylvia Echeverra is going to present plaques to those donors and to the woman in purple sitting in front of me. And then when she's done doing that, you'll finally get to hear from John about the process that went into doing this mural. So, what about John? Well, he's a fifth-generation Carpinterian. And here comes the third mention of Mary's name. When Donna Jordan and I went to talk to Mary to find out some things about John before we had this ceremony 5.5 years ago, and we asked her about him being brought up and what he thought about art, and anyhow, what she said was he's self-taught. He always wanted to be an artist. She said, although it didn't happen very often, when she had to keep him quiet, all she had to do was give him crayons and a whole bunch of paper, and that worked. She also told us that when he was in elementary school, the teacher asked the class, what do you want to be when you grow up? We've all heard that question often enough. And John answered, he had just discovered Pablo Picasso, and he answered, I want to be a famous artist. And he has become a famous artist. And then when he was in high school, he opened what almost certainly was the first art gallery in Carpinteria, over by where Hurley Optics is, where Jack Hurley has his business. Yeah, John? Is that right? So John is a master at many things, not just art, but principally art. And he's done some fantastic murals around the world, some bigger than this one, believe it or not. But first and foremost, he's a fine art painter. He does wonderful canvases, and a lot of the people here in this audience are lucky enough to have some of his paintings hanging on our and their wall. He's shown his art in galleries all over the world. He now has his own gallery here over on Maple, as most all of you probably know. And it's not just his art that's great, though. As those of you who know him well know, he's a fantastic, wonderful, caring, loving human being. And that shows in all his interactions with all of us who love him. You want more praise, or is that enough? Now? Yes, it was turned off. John's going to talk about his process, and he's going to talk about what it took, I presume he is anyhow, to do this wonderful mural. And to introduce that, I'm going to read you the words that he and Donna and I put together after looking at files in the Historical Museum to kind of give an overview of what his mural is all about. And and it's going to be on the plaque that's not yet finished. It'll be mounted on the wall next to the mural right down there. And here's what those words say. For well over a century, due to the unique growing conditions that exist in the Carpinteria Valley, local growers have been successful in producing a wide variety of crops. Walnuts were the first commercial crop. Look at the mural down in your right. Walnuts were the first commercial crop, but it was lima beans that put Carpinteria on the map. The lemon followed, giving the Carpinteria Valley a national agricultural identity. Eventually, the lemon gave up its crown to the avocado and to the flower nurseries that emerged in the valley about 50 years ago. Exotic fruits like the cherimoya joined the abundance in the 1970s. Carpinteria flowers have been successfully marketed throughout the United States and Canada and annually appear on Tournament of Roses parade floats. Local avocados are enjoyed throughout the West Coast and are celebrated here each October at the California Avocado Festival. So before I hand this to Sylvia, congratulations to John, and please join me in giving him another much-deserved hand.
Can you hear me? Oh, great. Thank you so much for being here and for celebrating this lovely mural. Thank you, John. And it would not have been possible without the generous donation of so many people, the 10 donors. So we would like at this time to present a plaque from Carpinteria Beautiful to the California Women of Agriculture, Sandy Weil, Elizabeth Van Eyck, and Susan Pollard. Thank you, ladies. Would you like to say a few words?
We would like to say thank you to John for our love, which is agriculture. And thank you for your support. This is more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, ladies. And the second plaque is presented to Glenna Berry Horton. Glenna, are you here? Oh.
Glenna is a member of California Women for Agriculture, and of course, she is in a long-time pioneer family of avocados. And when she heard about the need to donate for this fabulous mural, she said yes.
Thank you. Peter and Carol Nichols from Santa Barbara Exotics, please come forward.
Okay. I'm proud to be able to donate some money to be able to contribute to this mural. We know and love John very well. We have some of his paintings, so we're proud to be able to contribute to this. My grandfather was a pioneer in exotic fruit, and we have continued that on. He planted avocados here in 1929. He was one of the first avocado growers. And so now Santa Barbara Exotics grows, packs, and ships chirimoyas, passion fruits, sapotes. So, Carol?
I'm a longtime member of California Women for Agriculture, which is a wonderful organization. We raise money for scholarships and various other causes, and we love to have new members. We are, this is what we're all about, our community.
Thank you, Peter and Carol. And the next presentation goes to Mac Brown Excavating. Mac is not here, but his sister Elizabeth will take the plaque on his behalf.
Thank you. On behalf of Mac, we really appreciate it. And you know him. He's always got his foot in the dirt somewhere. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Dawn, Linda, Tasha, and Justin Fareed. Is there a representative? Sandy?
Thank you. Okay. Glenna, come up here for a minute so everyone can see you.
No, and we'd like, Glenna, we would like to thank you for your generous contribution, Glenna Barry Horton, and for being here. And Sandy has your plaque. Thank you so very much. Would you like to say a few words?
This is the thrill of my life. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the Fareeds, Linda Fareed is also a member of California Women for Agriculture, and the family has lived in Santa Barbara County for close to, I think, 45 years. They are huge supporters of agriculture, and they realize how important it is in the Carpinteria Valley.
Thank you, Sandy. Baylord Citrus, Andy Powell, Andrew Baylord.
I'm really excited to be involved with this sponsorship with this mural as well. I think John did an outstanding job. I think it's great for the community. And my family and I have been involved with Carpinteria for many years. I grew up here. I'm a fourth generation avocado grower. And we went back to the days of lemons before avocados and walnuts and beans before that. What really interested me about this mural is I've covered both bases because I have 2 lemon trees left on the ranch, that's covered, and I've got the rest all in avocados, and that's covered. So, thank you very much. Pleased to be involved.
Thank you, Andy. Everbloom Incorporated, Ed and Nadia Van Wingerden. Is there somebody here? All right, we'll go to the next one. Myriad Flowers, Harry and Michelle Van Wingerden, whom I don't see, so we'll make sure that they get their plaques. Maximum Nursery, Winifred Van Wingerden. Well, they all must be at the same party. And we have, representing Bliss Lands, Tim and Wendy Bliss McMurray. You could come forward, please.
Thank you. The Bliss family has been in Carpinteria nearly 100 years. We have 6 generations living here, or our 6th generation is living here. And we so appreciate being included in this project. And I grew up with a Will Brandt, so it means a great deal to us to have been included. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim and Wendy. So once again, thank you to all the donors. It would not have been possible without your generosity. And at this time, I would like to ask Martha Marquez, the building owner, to come forward. Would you like to say a few words?
I just want to say thank you to everyone that made this possible. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Martha. Thank you.
I forgot to mention earlier, so when John is finished speaking, we have punch and a cake and refreshments for everybody. Please join us and mix. Now my pleasure to introduce John Wilbrandt.
Thank you, Foster. Is this working? Yes. Oh, great. Okay. I'm not a very good public speaker. I'm going to probably abbreviate what I was going to say just because Foster spoke at length about me, and I was going to talk about me. So, and he started with making mention that it was my mom's birthday, and I'm so glad he did. And I want to extend my happy birthday to my mom also. So I want to thank all the people that Foster thanked. And if he left anyone out, please, I thank you too. So the mural starts off with sketches first, well, ideas, then sketches, and then a color maquette. And this is what was approved by the Architectural Review Board. And I think, well, I should start off by thanking Carpinteria Beautiful. Hey, all of you that are part of Carpinteria Beautiful, thank you so much. Thank you. So I wanted to show you this, this color rendering. Often when I'm through with the rendering, people ask, well, what are you going to do with the rendering? And I'd like to give it to my mother for a birthday present. So I had a whole bunch of things I was going to talk about. I had no idea that the earlier speeches were going to take so long, so I'm going to try and abbreviate my speech. 1542, 1769, 1822, 1846, 1861. So it was 1542 that the Spaniards first arrived to see the Chumash, who were living peacefully in this area, collecting acorns. So the mural really should have started with acorns. But I've focused more on the crops that were brought to the valley after the Californians by the Americans. It was in 1769 that the next expedition of Spaniards arrived, and the Santa Barbara Mission followed shortly after that. At the Santa Barbara Mission, they planted many crops. They tried lots of different trees, and many of you know about my father's side of the family being involved in agriculture here and working on many of the farms with the Baylards and the Abbotts and so many others. But on my mother's side of the family, they had also an interest in agriculture, and the Rutherfords ended up getting a slip from the
fig tree at the mission, the original fig that was brought to the mission. And her family has carried slips of that fig through the years. My mom has one in her yard. I have one in my yard from the original mission fig. And I grabbed this leaf off of that tree, and it kind of links us back to the beginning of agriculture in this area. So what the Spaniards found in the Carpinteria Valley were grizzly bears, wildcats, lots of oaks, sycamores, quite a large marshland, which would have extended way back into this area back in here. And at the end of the Spanish era, the mission lands were split up, and they were into land grants or rancheros. So that's what happened to the Carpinteria Valley in the early days, and it was mostly cattle then. So when the Americans arrived about 1846, they started to buy up the ranchos. In 1861, there was a major rainstorm in Carpinteria. There are accounts that it rained for 20 hours straight. And the following 3 years were extreme drought. And because of that drought, it pretty much brought an end to the cattle industry here in the valley. So among the first, I just wanted to make mention of a few of the family names. Possibly the first American farmer would have been Stephen Olmsted. At that time they had hand-dug wells, and they were trying many crops with dry farming. In the early 1860s, a gentleman by the name of Colonel Russell Heath came to Carpinteria, and it was my great-great-grandfather that came and worked with Russell Heath on the Heath Ranch. Many of you know the Heath adobe. And so my family, the early part of my family grew up on the Heath Ranch. My grandmother was born on the Heath Ranch. And so her grandfather was in charge of the horses. Back then, that's what was creating the valley, the new agriculture in the valley. They had to cut down the oak trees, and it was the horses that would drag everything away. So a great-grandfather of mine really played a role. It was, and it was Russell Heath who's attributed to having planted the first walnut orchards. So in our mural over here on the far, what is my left, your right, are walnuts. And if you know the general area where the Heath Ranch is, the Heath adobe, that area there was really close to what at the time they called the swamp. And so there was plenty of water in this general area, and they were able to plant walnuts, which take a considerable amount of water. So the first walnut house was found at the Burn Franklin place. So that'd be up by Franklin Canyon. I have one little thing I'd like to read. And this was written by Albertina Rodriguez, and it was published November 16th, 1969. She has an account of the walnuts in detail, but she's remembering when she was younger and the walnuts were still in in production, and she says, I picked lots of walnuts when I was young. A good tree could yield 4 to 5 gunny sacks. It took 4 5-gallon kerosene pails to fill a sack. If you were a good picker and your back held out, you could pick 20 cans a day at 10 cents a can. This was good wages in those days. They gave us a month's vacation from school so we could pick walnuts. This is a wonderful little account of that. Later on, the Walnut House moved down near the railroad tracks, and so that they would be able to export. 1867, Orrin Caldwell arrived, and he had experimented with many different crops, including avocados, citrus, apricots, grapes, bananas, guavas, olives, and I've taken a lot of these bits of information from the writings of Jonathan Brown, who his writings are available at the Historical Museum. If you'd like to go over there and get some more research, please do. And particularly his story is among the most thorough about the agriculture in the valley. I want to read a little bit of his account. So following the walnuts came the lima beans. This is Jonathan Brown. In 1873, a few lima beans were planted as a dry farm crop in Serena. And after a few successful years, a contract was made with a seed company in Detroit, and Carpinteria was soon famous for its lima bean crop. Practically all of downtown Carpinteria was devoted to growing limas, as was most of the good land in the valley. The lima crop over the years provided the income for many farmers and was often interplanted with young citrus or walnut orchards. They were a successful dry farm crop because of the traditional fogs of June and July, which allowed the vines to mature the beans without irrigation. But if the fall was too hot, the beans could dry too quickly and shatter during thrashing. By the way, there's another account of lima beans that I remember reading in Arthur Clarke's version. I think the book was From Grove to Cove to Grove, if any of you have read that. He had a little story in that about the lima bean, and limas were so successful in Carpinteria that there was a farmer in Ventura, don't know his name, and he wanted to outdo Carpinteria, so he wrote to a friend of his in Paris and had them ship him some beans, some seeds from Paris, France, and to plant in Ventura. And when the package arrived, he opened it up, and the tag on the bag of limas said, "Product of Carpinteria." So in 1877, again, this is Jonathan Brown. In 1877, Sim Shepherd moved to Rincon Canyon and planted his land to potatoes, corn, pumpkins, and hay. He also began to grow strawberries, and these soon became famous and in great demand. A box of 9 to 12 berries selling for 50 cents. The Shepherd family is always willing to try something new, and soon they moved into the citrus business, and then later avocados. One little thing I want to say about that I had the good fortune of the first place that I got to live after moving from my parents' home on Walnut, 2.5 blocks away where I grew up. And I got to live in one of the little cabins for a while at Shepherd's Inn in Rincon Canyon. It was there that I got to learn how to drive a tractor. Not that tractor, that's Richard Sanchez's tractor over there. But I learned how to drive the tractor and keep the weeds down in between the lemon trees, possibly having originally been planted by the shepherds. The first large citrus planting came in 1881 when P.C. Higgins planted 5,000 lemon trees in association with Heath and Shepherd. They built a packing house to pack their crop and the crop of a few other growers in Carpinteria. Again, it was the perfect climate to grow lemons, and the mild summers allowed a later harvest than the rest of Southern California, providing higher returns. Soon, more small lemon plantings grew around the valley, and farming revolved successfully around lima beans, walnuts, and lemons. Much of the foothill land was devoted to raising hay to feed the large teams of draft horses. So I'd like to wrap it up. I think that there are many of you who are still working on avocado ranches here. They're neighbors of yours. They can give you a far more accurate account of the avocado industry through the long period that it has been providing Carpinteria farmers with a sizable income. It's had its ups and downs. It has not been easy for these farmers to hold on to their properties through the years. Many of the ranches have changed hands due to the change in the market for various reasons. But we're a few days away from the Avocado Festival. It's somewhat coincidental that we have this happening today, and I want to thank all of you for coming and joining us and celebrating Carpinteria Beautiful's most recent mural. Thank you. All right, let's eat.
Avocado.
Okay, let's see you do it.
Come on.
You cut the bit.
Okay. Do I have to get it out now?
Is it a real avocado pit?
He wants the pit. Oh, I'm the nut.
So thanks for donating your building. And your name is? Nice to see you.
Hey Lisa, how are you? Good. The mural.
Gotta get going.
Oh, that's the outfit.
Hi, and you are?
I'm Ruben Marquez, Jr.
And how are you related to this?
My parents own the building.
It's pretty cool. So they let it be used for this.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, anything to beautify Carpinteria, you know?
What do you think of it?
It's gorgeous. I think it sums up Carpinteria perfectly, you know? You got the sun, you got the beach, you got the avocados, you got the, you know, the Gerber daisies, you know, just beautiful, you know? It's exactly what this part of the town needed.
Well, thanks, Ruben. Nice to see you.
I promise, remember?
So, what do you think about this?
I love this mural. I think it demonstrates our history in a really amazing way. I love the color. I love the panoramic scene of it, and I just like the symbolism and how he uses the agriculture to show the different seasons of our history.
I think it's fabulous. Yeah, John is such a credit to what Carpinteria is all about. Generosity, his talent, his spirit. It's just fabulous. Thank you.
Well, it's gorgeous. It represents everything that the valley's about. So, yeah, it's gorgeous.
Thank you. Hi, Tara. Can you see where we are right now?
I sure can. We are right here.
Is that the mural?
There's the mural. That's right. Isn't that
That's the
cool?
mural.
Yeah.
Tara, what do you think about the mural?
I think it's fascinating. It's fabulous. It encompasses so much. The detail of Carpinteria as it is right now, and then you have the history from the agricultural history up to the present. It really incorporates a lot of different elements and it's beautiful besides.
What do you think?
Well, first things first, I'm the niece of him.
Oh, you're the niece of John Woolbrand? Okay, so you're famous. What do you? And this is going viral right now. What do you think about the mural?
I think he really tells a lot of detail. I think he means that everything he has a part of the past and the past the future. It's kind of cool he can paint along. He actually makes a really good, he makes his best. He picks the colors, he chooses the right colors and texture, and he is really a good one. He's a good uncle.
What do you think about the mural?
I'm speechless. And it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely.
It's spectacular. It's beautiful, and it's perfect to commemorate, Carpinteria history, the agricultural history.
I think we're really fortunate that we have people willing to donate the space. We just have to look for more spaces and get more murals going here.
I don't have an opinion.
Ryan, what do you think about this mural?
It's utterly spectacular. I was part of the mural committee. We delivered the panels down, and it was a moment of pride, I have to admit, when we turned over the first panel and we saw the vibrancy of the flower, the Gerber daisy. So from then on, I knew it was going to be spectacular. I think it's one of his better works, so I think it's an asset to this community. I look for years to come. I'm really pleased with everything. John's has done a fantastic job, so can't ask for anything more. Thank you.
Can I ask you people what do you think of that?
I think it's great. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite as nice representing the community of Carpinteria. It's outstanding. Just to coin a phrase, it's a work of art.
What do you think?
John has done Carpinteria proud and himself. It's just beautiful. Beautiful.
So, congratulations, John.
Thank you, Larry.
You are involved with this too, right? What parts were you involved with?
Well, I just helped him basically get the background colors in and priming it, and just doing some of the grunt work.
So where did he paint?
Up at the house on the ranch.
That's the other one. You can see the ranch from the parking lot here, just barely.
Right.
It's up on that.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, Larry. Thank
Hey,
you.
you better film my sister. She's right here.
What do you think about this mural?
I think it's really good.
You ready?
All right, let's go.
John, congratulations.
Well, thank you, Larry Nimmer, from Larry Nimmer Productions.
It must have felt good having all these people show up.
It felt so good.
Are you relieved it's over, or is it not over?
I'm so relieved.
Good job, John.
Thanks, Larry.
Can I ask, what do you think?
I give it a 12 on a 1 to 10 scale. That's more than a 12. That's a 15. That's incredible. Art in public places, vital. It defines a community. This is beautiful. John Woolbrand, hero. Where is John? He's amazing. John Woolbrand, hero. Art in public places. Fantastic. It defines a community. Thank you. See ya.
Thank you, David. And how's the Art Center doing?
Art Center doing fantastic. We are going places. Hang on tight. John Woolbrand's part of that too, and aren't we lucky? Good, thanks. Bye-bye, you guys.
Okay.
What do you think of the mural?
It's beautiful. Love it. I'm not on camera, am I?
Yeah, you are.
Oh boy.
Are you related to John?
Yes, he is my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law, nice. Well, you must be proud.
Yeah. I'm one of her daughters. I'm guilty.
I think it's a really great depiction of Carpinteria. It's beautiful.
Nice. What do you think?
I think John captured it beautifully from the educational aspect, from the first crops all the way down the line.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's a great piece of art for the street, Carpinteria. This is one of those biggest murals in Carpinteria. That's a great piece.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
It's coming from an artist there.
It's absolutely beautiful, and there was John did a really nice job of actually going through all the history, which I think is important, and it's great that you've captured it and recorded it because it's good to understand how we got here and certainly where we're going from here. So,
okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks,
and you
Larry.
are?
Robert Schroll.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Oh, hi there again. Can I ask real quick, what do you think?
Oh my God, I love the mural. It's so beautiful. And now Carpinteria with these 3-year murals, it's sort of like Lompoc has a reason to visit so this town can promote itself for murals, but we need a Latino one.
We're talking about Hablamos Español y Bailamos. We need more Latinos.
Oh, I know.
Well, keep up the good talking, ladies.
Keep up the good talking.
What do you think?
I think it's great. Just great. The most beautiful mural. I couldn't be happier. I grew up on a ranch here, and it represents everything that I remember of that wonderful life.
Thanks, Jen. What do you think?
I think it is terrific. As usual, John did a fantastic job. It just always comes through. Perfect. Thank you.
What do you think?
I think this is awesome. I think that John is an incredible human being. He's an incredible artist. He's a walking historian. I praise art, and I love art, and this is a masterpiece.
I think it was a great get-together. Wonderful painting and great.
Thank you. And what do you think?
I enjoyed it. I think it's a beautiful mural too. It's really, really nice to see the community.
Can I ask you, what do you think?
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. It just tells the story so well. Thank you, John.
Want it to be over.
That's Saturday, right?
What do you think?
Incredible. Beautiful work.
What do you think?
I think John is he's a absolute true artist. I mean, he takes it to the nth degree as far as the quality of his work, and there's a hidden message in the painting, and I've been trying to figure out what it is, but right now I still don't. I haven't. Well, he told my wife. She knows it's there, but I haven't found it yet.
Well, nice to see you. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you.
Pat, what do you think?
I think it's wonderful, and John does such beautiful work, and I'm with Women of Agriculture, and so we were very, very proud to be asked to be part of this project. And everybody should just come by and look at it, and really, it's just amazing.
For those that don't know, where is it in town?
It's just right by the Bank of America on Carpinteria Avenue, and just walk and you'll be right in front of it, and you'll be able to see how great it is. Thanks, Larry.
Oh! You must be proud of your son today, huh?
He's good to his mother.
Nice to see you.
Where's the birthday party?
Thanks, Larry.
Nice to see you.